Hi, thanks for joining me today on my channel. Today is an exciting day because we're going to use the grill that we made last week, and we're also going to use Lockhart Ironworks Skillet that I showed you guys for the first time on this grill. And we're going to put it through a couple of tests. We're going to make a recipe that was specifically from the cooking version of this Boy's Life periodical from 1941. And what I was really surprised when I was looking through this is that how much stuff, even in 1941, existed that we use today, including Kool-Aid. Now, this was a gift from one of my viewers, Mr. Hidreki, last summer. I really appreciate him giving this to me so I can use it for this video and show you guys some things. So what are we going to do? We're going to make some fried chicken. Now, I love fried chicken. And it seems kind of basic, but in truth, a lot of these recipes are pretty basic because, well, they're made for kids. You know, these are beginning type recipes for scouts to use, and they're meant to be easily acceptable for anybody. So if you're intimidated by cooking, I promise you, even you can do it. Now, I want to give a shout out and thanks to my patrons on Patreon, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff that we do on this channel. And if you like this video, if you like the other stuff that we've done, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, $5 or less, or whatever change that you may have, to help continue the efforts on this channel. It's really appreciated. All right, so you guys excited? Are you guys ready? All right, let's get into it. So what are you gonna need? Flour, chicken. Now I'm using chicken breast, boneless skinless chicken breast, but you can use any chicken. You wanna use some salt and pepper. Now I'm also going to use a little bit of cornmeal flour because, you know, I think cornmeal flour tastes pretty good with fried chicken. Now, we're not using an egg wash on this because, you know, scouts taking eggs, they could be perishable, they could break, they could bust, or whatever. So all we're doing is we're going to coat the chicken in the flour mixture and we're going to fry it up. Now, to me, what I'm really curious to see is how well does this skillet heat up over the coals, and is any of the chicken going to stick to the skillet? So we'll see how it goes. You ready? Let's check it out. Okay, now once you have your coals going, go ahead and scoop those up and put them on the grill. So once you get your fire going and you have your coals, go ahead and transfer your coals to the bed of your upright grill. And if you're not using the grill, then just separate your coals from the main fire, because you don't want to be dealing with a lot of smoke and ash and things like that blowing around and getting in your face. That's just going to be frustrating. Having a dedicated place for cooking away from your main fire is really important. It'll make your experience so much better. Promise you. So we went ahead and we transferred coals over to our bed. Now we're going to put our grate over our upright grill, and then we're going to heat up our skillet. We're going to put some lard in it. I'm going to use lard. Nice thing about lard is it stays solid for the most part. Even in warm weather, it stays pretty solid. You have to heat it up quite a bit to get liquid form. So as far as transporting it and moving it around, I think lard's pretty nice, but you can use vegetable oil or whatever else that you want. Now, if you're trying to do it period correct, even Crisco was around, and Crisco also stays solid through pretty high temperatures. So it's up to you on what you want to do. So I'm going to put the grate on this. We're going to heat up our skillet, add our lard, and we're going to get to cooking up our chicken. Okay, what we have here is our already prepared flour and cornmeal mixture with some salt. I had some paprika. I think I even have some onion powder and garlic powder in there. But, you know, just salt and pepper can make a fantastic flour base. I didn't add pepper to this yet because I like fresh pepper on anything that's flour related. So I'm kind of a stickler for that. Once you have that, you can take your fingers or whatever you want. We're going to mix that up really good. we're going to take our chicken and we're just going to dredge it in the flour. Now, if you wanted to, you can use an egg wash and make this kind of like a country fried chicken. But that's not what the recipe suggested. That's not what the scouts generally took with them. So this is what we're doing. It's a very basic flour mixture. All to taste. Okay, so our oil's starting to smoke, so we know that it's good to go. As we put our chicken in, we're going to lay it down like so. You never want to put it towards you in case that the oil or whatever you're using splatters up. You always want to lay it down and then put it away from you. Let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes and then flip it over. Of course, you have to make your own adjustments based off of the heat that your fire is producing. So just be cognizant of it and check on it. Okay, while we're waiting for a delicious chicken to fry up, I want to give you some of my own personal perspectives and experience cooking with Mr. Lockhart's skillet in my home kitchen. So we're talking about a regular range. Now it's an electric range, it's not a gas range or anything like that. And my initial feelings about it. Now, first off, right off the bat, I noticed that it heated up quite a bit faster than my same size cast iron skillet. And that's to be expected. You know, cast iron is known to have a slower heat up time, but a more consistent heat. It's one of the nice things that people like about cast iron. The first thing I cooked on the skillet was fried chicken. Now, the fried chicken didn't stick to the skillet at all. The heating was very even, and the chicken turned out wonderful. You know, there wasn't any burn marks or anything like that. And I have a family of 5. So generally, once I get to like the last piece of chicken, things start to really get kind of crusty on the bottom of the skillet. And to Mr. Lockhart's testament, it really didn't get all that crusty. So I think that's pretty impressive. Now, after that, I went ahead and I seasoned the skillet, and I used traditional lard because I knew, this being a traditional channel, that I wanted to use that more traditional method. So I stuck it in my oven, you know, 450 degrees for a couple hours, and I made sure everything was coated with lard. I put a pan underneath so it doesn't, you know, get all over the bottom of my oven. But when I took that out and I fried an egg a second time with, of course, enough oil like I normally do, not an excessive amount of oil, that the eggs turned out better. And I'm not joking, I'm not making it up, I'm not trying to exaggerate, but the eggs actually turned out better than my cast iron. There wasn't so much of the crispiness that I tend to get with my cast iron skillet, and they didn't get too overcooked. You know, I was able to flip it even earlier than my cast iron, and it was beautiful. Like I loved having my eggs on Mr. Lockhart's skillet. No sticking whatsoever after I properly seasoned it and after I used it 2 other times. So I'm really excited to see how well it does here on this chicken. Let's go ahead and check it out. It's been about 3-ish, 4-ish minutes. That's a beautiful golden brown right there. Let's go ahead and leave it on for another 3 or 4 minutes and see how it does. All right, so it's been about 4 minutes on this side. I did have to add a little bit of more lard to the pan. It was getting a little dry. As you can see. Look at that. Ah, it's awesome. And nothing stuck to the pan. That's all just like the flour that kind of came off of it as I put it in it. My gosh, does that smell good. I think we're ready to go ahead and take it off and try it out. Looks so good. That's really good. Put some mashed potatoes in with that and some gravy. That'd be a great camp meal. There you have it. That is the recipe. Now, if you like this video, please do me a favor and go ahead and click like. That way other people find it and it helps them out as well. We really appreciate it. What do you do with cast iron or steel skillet once you're done with it, especially outdoors? Well, you gotta season it. Now, if you're not familiar with seasoning, it's the process of laying down a layer of oil, and the oil soaks into the pores as the metal heats up. It literally has these little pockets that the oil sits in and fills it in. So next time that you cook, then you don't have to deal with the stickiness like cooking eggs or anything else. Chicken, you know. And as you can see, there's nothing that's really stuck. This is all just loose crust from the flour base that we use. So good. I'm going to show you how to clean and season a skillet, whether it be cast iron or steel, once you're done with it. Now, what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need either a scrubber, preferably metal, or a scraper can be kind of handy. You're going to want either some type of oil. Now, I'm going to use lard because this is a traditional channel, and lard was the traditional thing that was used. But you can use Crisco, you can use vegetable oil, you can use coconut oil, you can use, flax oil, all sorts of stuff. And depending on who you talk to, depends on how good each of those oils work. I'm a traditionalist, so that's why I'm using lard. Okay, but again, you can use whatever that you have available. You're going to need a towel, maybe a paper towel or something like that. Today, I'm going to use just a basic towel. We're going to heat up the pan with a little bit of water in it, and that's going to make it easier to clean out. Let's see how it's done. So how much water do you put in? Just enough to cover the bottom, because the more water you put in, the longer it's going to take to heat up. And that's not what we need. Once you have your water in there, go ahead and scrape the bottom, get up any crust that might have been left. As long as your skillet is seasoned well, then you will not have a problem cleaning it, no matter what you put in on it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and dump this out and bring it back. Okay, now we're going to add just a little bit more water. For this, you're going to want a towel, paper towel or something, and you're going to scour the bottom. There we are. Going to go ahead and dump that real quick. Okay, now we're done. We don't need to put any more water on this one. I'm going to go ahead and use the same towel, flip it over so it's on the clean side. We're going to dry it off. And I think this is another testament to Mr. Lockhart's skillets. As we look around, there is really nothing on the bottom, and that was as simple as you can get in regards to cleaning the skillet. Now, I'm going to put just a little bit of lard on, and with the same towel, on a dry part, I'm going to rub this lard in. I'm going to get the sides, get the bottom really well, and I even like to oil the handles because all of this could rust. And if you're going to use it outdoors, then you don't want anything to be exposed. Now, If you want, you can clean the bottom. As you can see, this one's got a lot of ash on it. So what I'm going to do, generally speaking, when I go home from a camp out, I'll go ahead and clean that bottom really well when I get home. But while I'm outdoors, I don't worry about cleaning the bottom. I just oil the edges, oil the sides, and oil the handles. That's all there is to seasoning a piece of steel or cast iron. When you get home, you might want to put it in the oven with another layer of oil, but generally speaking, if you season it really well before you take it outdoors, you won't need to do that. Generally speaking, I might completely season my cast iron or my steel skillets once a year. And that's just if I've got the time, but it's really not even necessary. And I've had my same cast iron for years and years and years and years, and there hasn't been a single bit of problem. Now, this skillet from Mr. Lockhart is almost brand spanking new. This is only the 5th time that I've used the skillet. So, if you want to check out Mr. Lockhart's skillets, then check out Lockhart Ironworks. It's really nice, high quality. I don't have a single negative thing to say about it. It's performed magnificently thus far, and we'll continue to use it and see how well it does. This is a great recipe. If you like this, do me a favor and click the like button. That way other people find it and it helps them out as well. I think they really appreciate it. I'm sure they would. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel and hit the notifications button, you want to go ahead and do that, because next week I'm going to show you a really cool artifact that dates to the early 1900s. It's a really nice piece of kit, especially if you go hiking or backpacking. You will love it. But, you want to be here for it and be notified, click the notification button. If you've liked how to cook, then you want to check this video out next, because I show you how to cook a really cool period recipe there. And if you're interested in pioneering projects like the grill or like my sawbuck, then you want to check out this episode here. I think for your camp, you definitely want to add it to it. It'll make your life so much easier. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.